Welcome to the next tutorial about the Dark Heresy framework. In this tutorial I will go into more complex detail of the Rogue Trader part of this game. It's probably one of the most complex things I've created within this framework, and therefore certainly worthy of a tutorial explaining you how this works. Okay, first off we'll start with creating a ship, um, and hopefully this time my cursor stays on screen, because last time my computer crashed and unfortunately I had I lost a cursor recording. Okay, first off I'll drag exactly as the same as the last tutorial. I'll drag a picture onto screen, a cruiser. Let's leave the name for now. The token property type in this case is a Rogue Trader ship, so we're going for ship. This will be a NPC, so as a GM I will be playing it. The owner, which is very important in this case, is the GM. I'll explain later why this is important. Okay, so we have created now a ship. As you can see, all the stats are set to 0, but basically it acts as a Rogue Trader ship. Okay. Last time I explained the token props parser box, in which you can create NPCs with stats from a text file. This time I will do the same thing, but then with ship. Okay, so here we have the property editor of a ship. Now from the books you can let me get this on screen. From the book you can copy paste the statistics of a ship. In this case I will go for the Hammer of Truth, a light cruiser, and one thing to know is that within the ship's supplemental components, so cargo hold, light, bay, barracks, etc., also contains these things, the weaponry. You have to create a separate entry, weapon components, and put the weapons below that, because the parser will parse the weapons differently than the rest of the components. So keep them in mind, and if you forget it, the parser will warn you that you have to create a separate entry for weapon components. So even if you forget this, don't worry, you will be reminded. So we select this, copy, and paste. Okay. The name should be at the first line, which in this case is. If it isn't, just change this number or change the entry. Make sure that the token is selected and save it. This will take a while. Something went wrong here. Oh, here it is. As you can see, reinforced internal bulkheads, same as last time, isn't recognized, so the parser will ask you what does it mean. Well, in this case you have type 1 and type 2. To be honest, I forgot which one is which. 1 is I think for small ships and 2 is for bigger ships. This is a cruiser, so it's probably reinforced internal bulkheads 2. Okay, let's continue this. Now here you can see the statistics that have been entered, and if everything works correctly, the token is now free. I can close this, and if we look at the stats now, which we cannot see, it's a bit smaller, you see that it's a Dauntless class light cruiser. Well, bit of a strange name, okay. We can edit this in the properties. The ship class is a Dauntless, and it's a hull is a light cruiser. So now it's correct. Okay, so we have a Dauntless class light cruiser. Speed, maneuverability, etc., etc. As you can see, the macro battery and the augments are all intact because it's a fresh ship. Now, as I already said, it's vitally important that the ownership of the ships is set correctly. In this case, the GM is called Wolf 42, and the player screen, I will swap to them. See here, this is the player screen, and it's called player. If I again hover over this token, you see that nothing appears. Now if I grab a player ship, this one here, and I hover over it, you can see that the players can see the statistics of their own ship, but cannot see that of another ship. If I look at GM, the GM has full access still, so let's see. I have to turn off all players, and this is a player token. Okay, so if it works correctly, you can now see that the GM can only see the hand of vigilance, but no statistics because it's not scanned yet. So this is the part of the ownership. Please keep this in mind when starting it. Okay, now the fun part. First of all, the ship doesn't have any crew yet. Now I've created quite a few tokens with several you could say default statistics. Arch Militant, level 0, 1 and 2. Basically their stats increase where it's important for their role within the ship. So select the token of the players, click embarkation, and now we can start adding. Now also with adding, one thing you probably notice, if you're too far off and I do embarkation, then it won't find anything. So you can only embark tokens which are near. That's quite useful if you have a lot of tokens spread over a map, so it only picks the ones which are close. Okay, so again, embarkation. Well, the captain, let's make this a strong crew, so rogue trader level 2, and will they at least need a navigator? They will need a void master, obviously, to fly the ship. They will need a master at arms of arch militant, and let's add a seneschal as well. So now embarked. Now you will see these tokens disappear. They move to this thing, which is on the background, which is hidden here. It's called the VPCU, the Vehicle Personnel Container Unit. Every token that is embarked is moved to this token. If this token is not on the map, it will automatically be grabbed from the base map, where it should be, copied here at the 00 location, and the tokens will be put upon it. Okay. Now the player ship is already has a crew. This is the crew of the player ship, and now let's start with the fun. Okay, let's grab some deep space so we're out of reach of the rest. Zoom a bit out, and let's move the ship a little bit out of range so we can have a battle. Okay. Okay, first off, a GM, as you can see, has these two buttons, which the player does not have, should not have. I need to get the player here as well. Apparently I need to repair and upgrade this one, so it's for players. Okay, now they disappear, so now it's completely a player ship. You see, these buttons are not available for players, they are available for the GM only. What do they do? Toggle blip view is simply, as you can see, now it's called the Hammer of Truth, and if I toggle blip view, hello, okay, it's now in, it's called now, as you can see, detected anomaly. You can see it over here at the top of the macros. If I go to the player view, then players, if they hover over it, this is not player view, this is player view. If I hover over it, then the players will see a detected anomaly, and there, you can't just see it, their port, sunsphere, laser battery is at extreme range of them, and the other weapons are stated there as well, but because it becomes too long, it gets truncated. Okay, you can go as a GM even further. Namely, you can also enter silent movement, silent running, which is an option in Rogue Trader. If you go into silent running, the GM can see this small state button, then the players won't see anything. So the players will just see empty space flying around, and you will need to conduct an active augury to find something. Well, active augury are typically done by the Void Master, which is in this case Lucius. I'm going to give him a big modifier so he will detect something, hopefully. He doesn't roll too bad. And as you can see, well, he succeeded. You have detected the following target, Hammer of Truth, an average range of 34 units. Among these targets, the following were running Silent, Hammer of Truth. If there are more ships, you will detect more ships, depending on the degrees of success made. So now the players can see that this is a ship, the Hammer of Truth. They don't know anything else about it, but at least they detected it. To continue, they can do a focused augury. Let's do that as well. Let's do the Lucius. You can see you need to select a target to do this. So I'm going to select the target. Again, I'm going to give a big modifier. Well, actually, let's not give him a big modifier. And hopefully he'll makes it, but not too much. Okay, we'll have to try again. Focused augury. Lucius, select. Come on. Let's give him a 10 bonus. Scan. Roll 90. Okay, I'll just skip until the right one. Okay, that took me 5 trials to manage, but now you can see he detected something with 1 degree of success, which means the crew did not learn everything about the ship, but a couple of things. They now know it's a Dauntless class light cruiser. You know they have an armored bridge, Joven pattern class, well, etc. You can read this. They haven't detected the lance, torpedoes, or Nova cannons, basically because they're not there. If the player now hovers over it, need to move this one. You can see that the statistics they have detected are now part of what, if they hover over it, of the statistics they can see. If they hover over their own ship, they see what they always see, their own statistics. Okay. So let's attack. Yeah, first thing, the Hand of Vigilance is currently facing nowhere. I explained this last time. If you press Ctrl and Shift on Windows keyboard and then use your mouse wheel, you can aim the ship. Well, obviously, usually you have to do a maneuver action, but let's say that it was facing this direction and the ship is facing. Oh, they can't move it, of course. GM need to do that. So go to GM view. Oh, this is also part of MapTools. To change this, you can go to the configuration. It's top down. Top down means that the whole token swaps. If you go to circle, which is the one we want, so shape circle, then you have the same arrow. Okay, so let's also move. Well, let's leave this one there. Okay, so the players want to attack. Go back to the player screen. First, they can use show range. Well, they can ask which range do you want to see. Let's say that they want to use their prow, port and starboard, or left and right. So, okay. Now here you can see the range they have. So they can't reach this. This is, if I recall, short range, normal range, and long range and extreme range. Yeah. So it's out of reach currently. Show range again to toggle it off. It's usually easier to turn it off again because there are a set of special tokens created, which are just below the ship. I can show you, and well, they can become cluttery, so it's easier to just turn show range off, just to have a look, and then turn it off again. Okay. They're out of range, so they are, well, let's say that they're going to do a maneuver. Now, type of maneuver, again, the maneuver will be done by Lucius. And if you hover over type of maneuver, so the text, I don't know if you can see this, you can see a tooltip explaining what normal move, adjust bearing, adjust speed, etc., etc. Now, let's do a normal move at full speed. Normal move, full speed. Well, as it says, no test required. You must move 5 forward units and may turn up to 45 degrees. then you can move 5 void units. Okay, let's again have a look at the range. Let's take the prow, Sansia laser battery. Still out of range, so they can't do anything. I have to wait. Okay, this ship, go to the player again, GM again, sorry. This ship can do the same thing. Well, he can move. What is his movement speed? Is also 5 void units. So let's move him as well. 5. That's the first action. Okay. Also, let's have a look at the range. Here we too want to see prow. Oh, it's facing in the wrong direction, as I already said. So let's first turn him in the right direction, and also out of range. Okay. So turn the range off again. Well, we continue this until we're in range about now. Let's do the attack. Attack typically done by the Arch-Militant. This is Mia. Okay, and here you see a big screen popping up with all the weapons. Okay, the weapons, as you can see, all have color codes. The color codes simply indicate which weapon is where. So, for example, the fore weapon is on the prow, port, for the port and the starboard, as you can see from the range. So show range again. Okay, you can see it's port, starboard and prow. So you can fire from these 3 directions. I've done this because if you want to give a salvo, then you can give a salvo of these 3 weapons. Currently you can't because you can only use your 4 weapon. So let's do that for now. So use prow weapon. We need to select a target, which is a bit hidden here. A hammer of truth, and we attack. Okay, now this attack is stored. You can do multiple attacks, different ships, different targets, and as you can see, the one with that weapon with that color has is gone. Okay. Now, since we can't do anything else, we're going to resolve the attack, and then the attack is calculated by the system. So let's have a look at that. And here we go. Rolling against ballistic skill of 93, which is ridiculously high, but okay. 81, 1 degrees of success, strength 4, resulting in 1 hit, resulting damage is 11 minus 22, which is the hull 0. Unable to penetrate the armor of the ship. So next. So the hammer of truth also wants to do an attack. So before we do that, let's show me something else. Manage weapons. Let's add a new weapon. Specifically because this is an interesting weapon with lots of mechanics, the torpedo launcher. Okay, let's go for a Fortress pattern torpedo tube. Does 6 volatile enhanced. Well, you know the stats. Put that on the, doesn't have a dorsal, but let's put it on the dorsal anyway. Port, starboard, dorsal, prow and keel, by the way. Choose weapon. Okay, so now it has, as you can see, it has a torpedo. It hasn't got any torpedoes yet, so we need to stock them. If I would do load weapon, then I get dorsal Fortress pattern torpedo tubes. Do okay, and you can see you have no torpedoes left in stock. So we're going to stock torpedoes. Again, a lot of choices. Let's go for the plasma. Again, well, this really doesn't matter, but it's just the system works. So just pick a box, anyone, plasma, choose, and let's give him 18, 3 rounds. Okay. Now we need to load it. So we have it stocked. Now we need to load the weapon. Okay. How many do you wish to load? Well, let's go for the full blast. 6. Okay. it's now loaded. So now when I attack, let's move this ship a little bit out of distance for the effect. Now when I attack, also let me get this up like this. It's interesting. Let's go to the player view again. Now when I attack with the player, oh, wrong way around, sorry. If I attack with the ship, attack, Arch Militant, okay. These two get his weapons, same color codes. As you can see, the salvo is maroon colored, and it applies to the maroon colored buttons. This one cannot take part of the salvo, so it has a different color. If you use forgot the name, the other type weapon, it will also be different color. It will also have a different color. Again, the color codes show in which directions you can fire this weapon. Because it's on dorsal, it can fire to fore, port, and starboard. In case of torpedoes, it doesn't matter from which side you fire, so let's just take the fourth one. Okay. Oh. Now, should have seen a marker appearing on the ship, but it didn't. And basically it's a good thing that it did, because as part of the tutorial it helps. I had another ship way down here, which is also called the Hammer of Truth. Small mistake of me. If you have two ships with exactly the same name, basically that's for the framework in general as well. If you have two tokens with exactly the same name, stuff will go haywire, and there's little I can do to check this. So make sure that all the names of the tokens are unique, or things go wrong like it just did. So again, let's give it a shot. Now the marker appears. As you can read, place it on the spot where you want to aim the torpedo. In this case I want to have it over there. I can choose for a wide or a short salvo. Short salvo more impact but less range. Wide salvo bigger range. It's quite distant, it might maneuver out of range, so let's in this case take a wide salvo and launch. Now I'm going to remove this one so you can see the effect. As soon as I launch it, then you see the torpedo launching and moving. Now, as the players have no clue what it is, it shows up as a detected anomaly. So for the players, let's go to player view, they see detected anomaly. Again, same thing as you do an active augury, they can detect what it is. But it's not in this case. Now, to see the threat area, it has, same as with grenades, it has its own buttons. See the threat area, you can see in the direction it's moving. It shows exactly which tokens it threats. You can add properties if you want to change direction, name, etc. Usually I wouldn't touch this too much, except maybe for the direction if you would like, but usually I wouldn't touch it. Now let's turn this off again. In the meantime, let's show me another thing. If I do a salvo this time with two weapons, let's assume the ship is within range. So I'm going to pick this one, attack, resolve. Now you can see that with the salvo, again it's done automatically. Bad roll, so only one hit, which does result in a lower hull integrity. As you can see, I've changed the hull integrity to double. That's a house rule I use. But out of the box, the game works without the house rule, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's what a salvo does. Now, I didn't turn on the initiative, but usually if you cycle through the initiative, then maybe it's done it automatically. Let's have a look. Yeah, here you can see it. The torpedo is added to the initiative panel. So if you use rounds with initiative, then you cycle through it, it will automatically end on the torpedo. And as soon as it does, you can say do advance path, and then it again moves towards the ship. Now two things can happen. It can barely misses it. It can run out of fuel. You can actually look at the properties and see range is 62, traveled 11 so far, so it still has enough fuel. But should it reach the range of 62, then it runs out of fuel and it dies out and disappears. In this case, we would like to see the impact, so boom. Okay. Now, if there are multiple targets within range in the threat area it encounters, you can select one, but as a GM you should take the most obvious one. In this case, the Hand of Vigilance, as it's the only ship. Okay. So now we the player ship have turrets, so they can try to shoot it out of the air. The torpedoes actually, there are 6. Let's take the Arch Militant to give it a shot, and managed to fend off 3 out of 3 incoming torpedoes. So, and the war continues. So that's the attack range. You can also add manual damage if you would like. That simply works. Well, it's self-explanatory. You can add the amount of damage. You can ignore armor or not. You can also damage an explorer if you would like, because the explorers are in the VBCU as explained earlier. So I could say, well, Mia gets a hit, and then you get the usual screen where you can add damage to that player. Other interesting functions. Damage and repair. If a ship is damaged, and I think this one got a little bit of damage. See. Well, big screen where you can set it's just in view, where you can set repair components. Well, they're all intact currently, and do general repair and also repair all to reset the ship completely. I will show you a big hit later on, or actually let me do that right now. Let's move a bit closer range. Let's assume that now the ship is facing that way, so it can do a bigger attack. Let's do a big salvo on this ship here. Okay, they're on the starboard side, so we do a salvo on the starboard side. Let's also give it, well, yeah, it doesn't really need a modifier, but let's give it a modifier anyway. Attack. Okay. Resolve. Now, apparently I did a critical hit. I haven't scanned the ship properly yet, so I don't know anything about personal components, field components, or etc. So the only option I have is pick a random component. Okay. Boom. It's big boom. 2 hits, 4 hits, 6 hits. So big damage. A critical lucky hit, internal damage force, etc. And the life sustainer is currently damaged. If I, as GM, now look, you can see in the stats that life sustainer is damaged. Macro battery is intact, opus intact, etc. So I can do a repair attempt by the crew. If I want to do that, I can do a crew test by the Sanisco. Well, you need an explorator, but okay. And so it switches to the macro, and then I can do use skill. I think in this case a tech use test. Forgot the rules. Sorry. Well, you can do the test. Try. If you succeed, you can repair that specific component. So let's do that. Component repair. As you can see here, the life sustainer is damaged. Let's say it is repaired again. Now it's intact. Let's also heal the ship completely, so I can show you some other interesting things. Let me do another attack, but this time let's scan the ship first. Lucius, scan it. Sorry, other way around. As I said, the other way around. The player has the, so here player does a, where are you? Focus augury by Lucius. Select target. Let's give it a big whirl, and a couple of things are detected. Let's do that again to detect a little bit more. Okay, so now a couple of components are shown. So let's do another attack with Arch Militant. Select target. Let's do full salvo. Okay. Attack. And you can see massive hit. Let's do it again. Oh. Okay. There again a full salvo. Resolve. Now, because this time I went beyond the whole integrity of the ship, I can, and I did the scan, I can pick components I would like to hit. Well, I may select one component. So let's take the Gallowfield. Okay, here you see that everything you detected shows up, except for the parts you may not target, like bridge and the engine. Okay, and then all the critical hits that have been done, so including the one you may pick, a total of, well, you can read text of what's happened to the ship. Well, eventually ship will blow up probably, and that's the part of the battle. What else? Embarkation have shown. Manage properties, properties of the ships, which you can change. Manage weapons, same as with tokens. You can pick, you can manage them, add new weapons, edit weapons. Also set the facing of weapons, so you can, because the facing doesn't show here, but you can select to where a weapon can face. Load weapon to stop torpedoes have shown as well. I think that concludes the Rogue Trader part. I will show you one last thing. Maybe I should have started with it. Settings, which only the gem can do. So we swap to the gem screen. Go to the settings. It's a bit out screen, but you can just see it. Within the settings, system rules. No. Are the house rules. These are house rules I spoke about. In case of Rogue Trader, these are my special set of house rules. Also with tooltips showing up if you hover over them. You can apply them or not, whatever you like. Okay, that really concludes this tutorial. Thank you for watching.